Amen, church. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocols. I've been given the opportunity to talk about dealing with difficult cases and how we need to apply discipline and seeking advice. You see, difficult cases in the ministry can be energy sapping, very energy sapping. And sometimes we tend to want to give up. But some of the people that are involved in this issue, they are God's children. That you can't just abandon them. As a matter of fact, you also need to examine yourself. Perchance, you have been so difficult to some people before. And they are so patient with you to help you to this point. So the same way, you need to also be patient with, these people that are, coming up with a difficult, situation. I know, in fact, when I got this class, I asked myself, why do my disciple Balogun still keep giving me, something to share in a leadership conference like this? But one thing that I come to realize is that I have this opportunity so that, I can be better trained and be able to do great for God. I also need to know that sometimes these difficult cases, it builds my character. It helped me to have a resilient, attitude towards being able to be patient with people. How can I now deal with difficult cases? The first point I will make: seek God's guidance and counsel. In Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 to 7, it goes thus: trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. You see, when we trust in God, you will be able to seek godly counsel to deal with all the difficult cases that confront you. I and my wife will have the privilege to lead Island region. And I will appreciate some of my leaders that have been helping me to deal with some difficult cases. Sometimes I have some difficult cases that I just feel like these ones will slow me down in doing other things. I will just throw such situation sometimes to Toby Olaguju and his wife. Please, can you help us deal with this so that we can move ahead? Olu and his wife too, to help us, and I am so appreciative of them because whenever they see any situation in the region, they call our attention to it as fast as possible. I'm grateful for these people, and I also, see a situation where young disciples are also keying into solving some of these problems. There are one difficult cases that I experienced recently, and I was, communicating with this brother for so long, and he's not responding. I have to talk to Alfred to help me reach out to this brother, and he brought a result, and I thank this brother for that. But I get a lot of discipline because each time these difficult cases comes up, I get in touch with my disciple as fast as possible. I don't wait for discipline time. Because the moment you are waiting for discipline time, the thing might get worse. So that is part of trusting in the Lord. If you don't go after your discipline time, difficult cases in your ministry will frustrate you. And that will not, help you. In Proverbs 11 verse 14, he said, for lack of guidance, a nation falls. But victory is won through many advices. You cannot do it alone. You need help to be able to help others. You can only give what you have. What you don't have, you can't give. In Proverbs chapter 20, verse 18, it goes thus: plans are established by seeking advice. So if you wage war, obtain guidance. The truth about it is that the devil is waging war against us on a daily basis. And if you are not seeking advice on how you can, navigate through, you will just fall yakata. You know what I mean by yakata? So dealing with difficult cases in the ministry is just being, in a battle with Satan. You need spiritual counsel and guidance in this battle. I present to you my wife at this point.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're grateful to the Smellies and the Akifenwas for the privilege to share this afternoon. Dealing with difficult cases. This is something, just like my husband said, thank you for sharing. Is energy sapping. And for those of us that were around last night, we heard that storms will always come. So for you to know that difficult cases in your ministry will always come, even when you least expect it. And I know that even for us as leaders, we say we don't have permanent friends, okay? One day, the person that is working so well with you in the ministry could be the next person that will give you that problem. So let's always be aware that something can happen at any time. And, there's the tendency to want to give up when this comes up. I mean, who likes to have difficult cases? I don't like to deal with it. I wish I don't have them. But they will always come. And if you want to have a successful ministry, you need to deal with those things. If you don't deal with them, it's like a yeast in a dough. It will spread around. And at the end of the day, it's going to make your work a serious burden, that you will never enjoy. So for us to be able to deal with difficult cases, we need to seek godly counsel, seek godly advice, seek godly help from your discipler. For my sisters here this afternoon, ask yourself, why do you have those cases in your ministry that is so difficult? God could be using it to build your character.
Oh, yes.
I've had to deal with different cases in my ministry that has taught me patience. For me, it's like you either shape in or shape out. But I can do that with God's children. So I need to be patient. I've seen myself like, wow, being this patient with this woman, this is not me. But it is God that has been able to help me to get to that point. So ask yourself, what is God teaching you through those situations? If you don't learn the lesson, those things will keep coming until you learn.
That's right.
So it could be for you. It could be that God is refining you and helping you to be a better person. Okay, when you have these problems, it is not for you to fear or to freak out. Remember, it is God's business.
That's right.
God will always take care of his children. And when you seek godly counsel, you will get the help, you will get the wisdom to be able to help these women. But when you don't, just like my husband said, you can only give what you have. Right. Whatever you've not learned, you cannot teach anybody. Whatever you have not attained, you can't give it to anybody. So for my sisters, please, it is very important you seek godly counsel. In your discipling, even don't wait for discipling. Sometimes, I know that sometimes some situations are very hot, like, hey, this one cannot wait. Go ahead and seek the necessary help. Sometimes, for me, it's not as if I don't know what to do. It's not as if I don't know how to deal with this woman, but I need to talk to my disciples to say, this. I've done this. What else do you think I should do? I get the help, and it makes it better. I've seen her advise me on something. I go tell the people, and it's like, wow, it has done a miracle. It is not me. It's because I have submitted myself to discipling. I have learned, and I'm able to help my women. Thank you.
Amen. Thanks so much. My second point has to do with take to spiritual counsel. Proverbs 13, verse 10. He said, where there is strife, there is pride. But wisdom is found in those who take advice. There is a particular, situation in my hands, on the island that, in fact, just as my wife shared, I felt this person should just leave the ministry. And I spoke with my disciple who gave me a spiritual counsel. And he told me that, why can't you take him out and buy food for him? And I said, okay, bro, let's meet at so place. Initially, he wasn't willing to come. But I said, have you eaten? He said, he's still working. I said, come, let's eat dinner there together. In fact, what I bought for him, for a very long time, I have not bought such a thing for anybody, even for myself. In fact, he was hesitating in taking, choosing some foods. And I said, take chicken, take those big chicken. And he took those ones, and as he was eating, we were talking. I bet you we left that place resolved. So it's one of the, benefit of seeking godly, spiritual counsel. It really helped me to solve the problem. It is another thing to take it, but if you don't put it into practice, you might not get the result. Sometimes you might feel like the person advising does not really understand what you are going through with that particular person. That the disciple is so difficult. But there's no any difficult cases that is more than God.
That's right.
We need to have a heart of obedience and see how God will help us to turn things around. When you take advice, it adds to your wisdom.
That's right.
In conclusion, for you to stand firm as you deal with difficult cases, you need to seek godly counsel and seek advice. At this point, let me give you my wife.
Thank you so much. For my sisters, when these difficult cases comes, don't look at that woman. See Satan waging war. And then when you see Satan waging war, it will help you to understand the battle you're in. And when you understand the battle, then you'll be able to seek the necessary counsel you need and the advice you need to be able to tackle the situation. I have some practicals for us here as we deal with some of these difficult cases that we have. First, always pray about the difficult cases in your ministry. There's nothing we can do without God. We are who we are, we are what we are, we can do whatever it is because of God in our lives. So always remember to pray about those things. And when you pray, don't just pray for the people, pray for your heart too. Something happened between me and a woman recently. She's not even a disciple. I was sharing with a sister last Sunday. And I also had to pray for my heart that God, please help me to have the right attitude. So it's very important for us to pray for our hearts too. Because if you have the right heart, even when you get this advice, you'll be able to apply it well. But if you don't have the right heart, you're listening to those things, you go there and do something else. The second one, so as you pray for your heart, pray for the women too. The second one, get open and seek godly help about all these different situations. Don't feel like, oh, I can handle this. I have done this before. Yeah, you could have done it before, but it adds to your wisdom when you ask again, you learn again. And sometimes the cases might look similar, but they might not be entirely the same thing. So it's very important that we get open and seek godly help at every point in time. The third one, have an open heart to take advice. It is one thing to seek advice and listen to the person. It's another thing to take it. When you take it, you act it out. When you take it, you do what the person says. Not that you take it and sift it and, okay, she really doesn't understand what I'm saying. You know, she does not know this woman. You're not in the same ministry with her. Yeah, you might feel that way. But you go ahead and be obedient and see what God will do through you. Thank you.
Amen. In conclusion, please, I want to appeal to us. Let's take our discipling time serious. It is a command from God. And God knows why he put it in the Bible, so that we can be better disciples of Jesus Christ. Thank you and God bless you.